This is gonna sound really strange. I actually hardly ever study for an exam. What I do instead is I just have like the homework, normal homework. I basically treat that as studying for exams. So what that means is like, but yeah, when it comes to studying for exams, then I think like what I said before, reviewing the end of the chapter and all that stuff, that's generally good several days before the exam. And yeah, I think it's important for you to be chill on the day and even the day before the exam, because that helps you be in the right mind state to do the exam well.
Yeah, so first is preparing for a test well. I think usually it looks like knowing when the test is, what the test is about, and how much prep work needs to go into preparing for the test. So usually what I'll do is I'll set aside like scheduled times to study for the test and block out those times to only be for test preparation. And yes, I think when you have that mental awareness that a test is coming up, then like freeing up time beforehand, whether it's with like social commitments and just having that as a priority is important too, so that you are well rested enough when it comes to taking the exam itself.
Depends on the class, and I would say it also depends on the professor. Like if the professor has a PowerPoint or just like slides that he teaches with, go through the slides, make sure that you understand everything that's written there, and then do practice questions. I think like that's the main thing for sciences. Make sure that first you understand the concepts, and when I do, it's like I'll go through the PowerPoint and write down notes, like the key things, like formulas and stuff, and then do practice questions, maybe like from the textbook, your homework, or just any resource that the professor gave you. That way you're like more prepared, and start with easy questions and then go to really hard ones that you feel like they're not going to be in the exam, but just because if you make the hard questions and you are sure that you can solve them, then in the exam you will be able to solve the easier questions.
Sometimes tests can be overwhelming if we put a lot of weight on it to be something that equates to our intelligence or significance. And I think something that has helped is knowing that tests are more for assessing understanding than for assessing intelligence. So sometimes like knowing that our identity is rooted in who the Lord is and who He's called us to be rather than in a grade, it does help to relieve that pressure in knowing that that grades don't define us, that failure doesn't define us, and success shouldn't either. So knowing that like as we study, that we do it all as worship unto the Lord rather than having it be an indicator of how intelligent we are.